All right, everyone, this is Elliot. Hi, Elliot. He's a PTSD survivor, and he's going to tell us a little about his story and ask him a few questions. Tell us.
My name's Elliot McKenzie. I served in the Marine Corps for 5 years. While I was in the Marines, I was deployed to Ramadi, Iraq in 2005, and I ended up coming home with a lot of issues, post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, anxiety, things like that. Um, and so when I got out of the military, I faced a lot of hard issues, and I've basically learned how to, I guess, cope with the issues and manage them through time. So now I'm doing a lot better. But I basically went from being a homeless veteran to graduating from Mount SAC, and now I'm at Dominguez Hills and using different methods to cope with my PTSD.
Perfect. Thank you, Elliot. And let's ask you first question. When did you first realize PTSD was developing?
Um, I'd say like 2008 was when I first realized. Um, I started noticing that I was having a lot of anger issues. I would snap at my own family members at home, friends at school. I would snap at them for like the smallest little things. Um, my anxiety levels would rise. Like I noticed, like if I went out to like a club or if I went to a social environment where there's a lot of people, I'd get really anxious and I'd have like a lot of anxiety. And then I also noticed my depression levels were rising. Like I didn't want to do anything. I was always crying. I would have really low energy levels. Some days I didn't want to leave the house. Stuff like that would start to happen. So I kind of realized around 2008 that it was a big issue.
It's crazy. All right, next question. Did you seek help on your own, or did a family member encourage you to seek help?
Um, I seeked help on my own because I started to recognize the issues and I started to recognize how they were affecting my life and how bad it was getting. And I knew I needed the help, so I wanted to get the help because I needed to become successful in life. I didn't want to let my PTSD take over who I was and take over my life and have it end up in a really bad situation. Um, so I ended up seeking the help on my own through the VA.
That's awesome. Um, what coping mechanisms helped you the most?
Um, Two, for sure, that I still use to this day. The first one is music. I've been a musician since I was, I don't know, in high school. And so I played the drums in high school, and that's when I also started singing. And I basically use my singing as a form of therapy. As a lot of people know, music is a form of expression. So if I'm having a bad day, if I'm depressed, if I have something bad happen to me in my life, something good happen to me, I can write a song about it instead of just keeping it inside and letting it get to me. Music has become a way for me to express myself. Um, and then the other one has been fitness. Um, One of my major issues is the depression that comes with my PTSD. And a lot of people know that when you work out, you release endorphins, which is the happy chemical in the brain. So through fitness, I'm able to actually medicate myself and give myself therapy because I release endorphins every time I go for a jog, every time I go to the gym, anything physical that I do that's a workout. I actually get like a therapy session through that workout. So fitness and music have been the biggest things that have been coping mechanisms for me.
That's awesome. And is there anything you want to tell my class that they should know if they ever gone through or will go through a traumatic experience? Is there any advice you'd like to give? Or
Yeah, I would say, because I know for a fact that the biggest thing that helped me out was my therapist was able to break down my symptoms. Because my biggest thing was when it first started, I was in a cloud. I knew there was something wrong. I knew I was doing certain things. I had certain symptoms, but I couldn't tell why. I didn't know why I was doing the certain symptoms. And the thing that changed, the thing that flipped for me was when my therapist sat me down and she listed all the symptoms that I gave her, and she was like, this is why you're doing that. This is why you're doing that. This is why you're doing that. And this is how you cope with this. This is how you cope with that. And this is how you cope with that. And so I would say if you do have PTSD or you've been through a traumatic experience and you're starting to realize that you might have PTSD, talk to a therapist who can diagnose your symptoms and figure out exactly why you have those symptoms so that you understand why you're doing what you're doing and why your symptoms exist within your own brain. Because every brain is different and every brain reacts differently to trauma. And so the key for me was figuring out how my brain was reacting to the trauma that I went through in combat and how to adjust my life to cope naturally. So I would just say figure out why your symptoms are happening and then learn the coping mechanisms to manage those symptoms on a daily basis.
Cool. Well, thank you so much, Elliot, for your interview. We really appreciate it.
Of course.
Thank you.